How's it going, everybody? I'm Nolan with Zamzows, and today for week 3 of Weed Awareness Month, I'm going to do something a little bit different. Today I'm going to make some food, and when we're all done, I'm going to take it to some of my coworkers and I'm going to reveal at the last second that it's been made with some weeds that I've harvested. What I'm going to make today is actually an artichoke dip. It's kind of a classic dip. I'm sure you've all had it, but what we're going to do is we're going to substitute the spinach in our spinach artichoke dip with some dandelion greens. These are some dandelion greens that I just harvested out of my backyard, and this was about 5 plants, and I think it's going to be just enough dandelion greens to really compensate for that spinach that you would normally do in that. I've got a few other things I'm going to prepare. We've got some stuff to go with the dip. We've got our artichoke hearts, some fresh garlic. I'm also going to make, usually with the artichoke dip, you're going to use some mayo. I'm actually going to make a homemade mayo. And instead of putting the garlic in the dip, I'm actually going to use that garlic in the mayo, so we'll get it in there that way. So that'll be a little bit of a different take on this artichoke dip, including some dandelions. So, okay, so for the first part of this recipe, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the homemade mayo. And if you've never made homemade mayo, it's super easy. It takes just a couple minutes. But I like to do it first for this because I want to let all the flavors, the garlic and the oil and the salt, kind of really marry up together. It's going to really kind of mellow the flavor out if you give it a few minutes to kind of rest. What you're going to need is 1 egg. You want to let it warm up to room temperature. If you're behind the game a little bit, just let it soak in some warm water for a few minutes. You're going to use 1 cup of oil. I like to use half a cup of a neutral oil like canola oil and half a cup of extra virgin olive oil. You're going to need a little bit of lemon. I usually use just about a half cut lemon, and you're going to squeeze that in there to get some acidity. Also, you got some garlic here, so I've got some fresh chopped garlic, and then I've got some coarse sea salt that I like to use because it really mixes into your liquids really quickly. All you're going to do for a homemade mayo is just first get your egg in there. And then we're going to go ahead and put our garlic in there. And I use a blender or a food processor for it, which I've found to make it really easy. You know, if you've never made a mayo by hand, it can take a while. So this food processor will make it really fast. It's super easy. I don't think I would do it a different way anymore. And then I'm just going to start with a good pinch of salt. You don't need to add too much right away. Just get a good pinch in there. And you can always add salt later. And then I'm going to just squeeze that lemon. About a half a lemon, I usually find, is about a little over a tablespoon or so. And then I keep a little bit extra if I need it. So one of the big things with mayo is you want to add your oil very slowly. But we're going to start off, just turn it on. We're going to just start by blitzing our... we're just going to blitz it up real quick. Just going to give it a nice, get it all mixed up together. And then what we're going to do is, like I said, we're just going to add the oil slowly. So I'll speed this part up because it takes a few minutes. But just add a little bit of oil at a time until you start to see it kind of thicken up. Then you can add it a little more quickly. So after I get all the oil in there, I'm going to actually let it blend for just a few extra seconds. That way it gets a nice thick, it kind of thickens that mayo up just a little bit. And at this point, I'm going to like to get a little bit of a taste just to see if it needs any more salt. And I'm going to say, yeah, we're going to give it just a touch more salt, but you really get that garlic out of there. Get a nice heat from that garlic. Really makes it nice and tasty. So we'll give that little pinch of salt. And we'll give it another good stir. And there we go. We've got a really nice, good homemade mayo. Yeah, you get that garlic flavor in there. And then I'm going to let this sit for just a few minutes as we prepare some of our other stuff. Okay, so for the next part, what we're gonna do is we're gonna wilt these dandelion leaves. And we want to wilt them to just kind of help them blend into this dip a little bit better. And you know, usually when you get spinach for an artichoke dip, you get like the frozen kind, and it's kind of already wilted and really watery. But we want to wilt the dandelion leaves. I've also harvested these just a few minutes ago, and for preparing them, I actually went through, just make sure you get like the little bit of chaff out of there. You don't want to serve that kind of stuff, but it's just like you would be harvesting out of your own garden. You know, get the stuff you don't want out of there. And even though I know nothing's been sprayed on these dandelions, I still gave them a good wash just to make sure I got all the dirt and everything off of them. Pick out any of the grass that you might see, you know. I harvest these out of the lawn, so a little bit of grass. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna give these a good chop. Not gonna be real scientific with it. Just chop them down so you've got a nice base. Like I said, this was about 5 plants or so. And I went through and cleaned them up. And you know, at this point, just kind of looks like some normal greens. Could even be spinach. So to wilt these leaves, what we're gonna do is we're gonna warm up our cast iron pan just a little bit. You don't need it to be ripping hot, but we're gonna put about a tablespoon, maybe 2 tablespoons of butter in there. And we're just gonna let that melt for a second. We'll let that butter get going, and then we're just gonna go ahead and throw our leaves in there, our dandelion greens, get all that good stuff. I think we got it. So it doesn't take it just took about a couple minutes. You just want them to be just a little wilty down. Don't need them cooked up or anything, just wilted. This is gonna go in there really nice. All right, now we're ready to get our dip made. So first thing we've got here is a full pack of cream cheese, about 8 ounces, so just one full regular bit of cream cheese. I've been letting it sit out so it's a little bit pliable. It's still a little warm, or a little cool, but it'll be fine. We'll get it worked in. We got here about a half a cup each of Parmesan and mozzarella cheese. These are freshly grated. Just did that a few seconds ago, so we're gonna get that in there. We're gonna add good couple spoonfuls of mayo. And our sour cream. You know, I don't measure a lot of things anymore, but sometimes it's a good idea. So I'm going for about a half a cup or so there. Tastes good. We're gonna go ahead and add, this is just a small jar of quartered artichoke hearts that I kind of rough chop just to get them to a nice size. Let's go ahead and add in our wilted dandelion greens. Okay, so there we go. There's our mixture. What we're gonna do next, we're just gonna fill up this serving dish. There we go. We got a little messy, but that's okay. That's what happens when we're making something delicious. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna just go into the oven with this. We've prepared, I've been preheating the oven to 350. So we're gonna go ahead and put this in the oven for about maybe 10-15 minutes. We'll see how it looks after about 10. Okay, so it's been about 20 minutes, and here we have it, our artichoke dip a la dandelion greens. So we'll give it a try here real quick. This just came out of the oven, so it might be a little hot. Yeah, that's pretty good.
All right. Now you can't necessarily take my opinion, so I'm gonna take it to some of my coworkers. We're gonna see what they think.
I've made this
Okay.
for you.
Specifically for me.
Well, for everybody.
Yeah, okay.
But I want you to give it a try. Tell me what you think.
Okay. Do I have something? I just scoop it with this?
Yeah, just scoop it with the bread.
Okay. It's not a trick, is it?
No.
Okay.
Well, there might be a trick.
Okay.
Do you like artichoke dip? I should have asked you before.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Okay, so out of 5 dandelions, how many would you give me?
5 being good.
5 being the best.
Yeah. It's a good 4.
A 4? Okay.
Yeah.
So I actually used, instead of spinach, I used dandelion greens.
Okay. I've heard they're edible, so yeah. Doesn't bother me.
Okay. Heidi, how do you feel about artichoke dip?
It's great. I love it.
You love artichoke dip. Kayleen says she doesn't. But I did get you gluten-free crackers.
Yes.
And I don't think there's any other gluten in there, so. All right, give that a try. I'll grab some spoons. What do you think, Heidi?
Heidi.
Oh, it's actually pretty good. Oh, it tastes really good.
Kayleen.
It's pretty good.
Okay, so what would you say if I told you I made it with dandelion leaves?
It still tastes pretty good.
I'm surprised.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Instead of spinach, I substituted it for dandelion greens.
I'm gonna get some of the green then.
You picked out the green?
Yep. It's good.
Yeah, it's really good.
All right.
Good job, Nolan.
Out of 5 dandelions, how many would you give me, Kayleen?
4.
4 dandelions, all right.
Yeah, 4.5.
4.5.
Yeah,
all
that's pretty
right. Tracy's not gonna try it.
Oh man, no, I can't do it.